Hi, in this video, I'll show you how to prepare a CSV file so you can import students into a batch in bulk. By the end, you'll know exactly which fields are required, which are optional, and how to avoid the most common mistakes before you even open the import wizard. The easiest way to start is to use the template that Ithera Guru provides. You don't need to build your spreadsheet from scratch. To get the template, go to any batch detail page and click the Import Students button in the top right area. This opens the import wizard. On the first screen, you'll see a panel called CSV Format Guide. It's open by default. Scroll down slightly and click the Download CSV Template button. Your browser will download a file called student-import-template.csv. Open it in Excel or Google Sheets. You'll see all 33 column headers already in place, plus 3 sample rows to show you the correct format. Before we go through all the columns, let me highlight the 3 that are absolutely required. Every row in your file must have these 3 things, or the student cannot be imported at all. The first is first name. The column header in the template is first name asterisk. This is the student's given name. The second required field is phone number. The column header is phone number asterisk. Enter digits only, no spaces, no dashes, no brackets. For example, write 98765432210, not 987-654-3210. The third required field is status. The column header is status asterisk. You can only enter one of 2 values here, inquired or enrolled. These are case insensitive, so enrolled in small letters works too. The status you choose is very important. It controls what stage the student is placed in on the batch roster. An inquired student is someone who has expressed interest but is not yet formally enrolled. An enrolled student is an active member of the batch. Choose the wrong one, and the student will appear in the wrong place in your reports. Now let's walk through each section of the template. The first section is student information. Last name, optional but strongly recommended. If 2 students share the same first name, the last name helps distinguish them. It's also part of the duplicate detection system. If you previously imported a student with a last name and you re-import them without it, the system may not recognize them as the same person. Email, optional. Just the student's email address if you have it. Date of birth, optional. If you include it, the format must be YYYY-MM-DD. For example, the 15th of August 2010 is written as 2010-08-15. Be careful if you're using Excel. It can reformat dates automatically. After typing a date, check that it still looks like YYYY-MM-DD format before saving. Gender, optional. The accepted values are male, female, others, or prefer not to say. Note that the column header in the template is quite long. It includes all 4 options in brackets. That full header text is the actual column name, so don't shorten it. The next section is contact details. You already know about phone number. Alongside it, there's phone country code. For example, +91 for India or +44 for the United Kingdom. This is optional and defaults to +91 if you leave it blank. If your students are in different countries, make sure to fill this in. The format is a plus sign followed by 1 to 4 digits. Then there are 2 notification fields, notification phone country code and notification phone number. These are for a separate number that should receive WhatsApp notifications. This is especially useful for young students. You can put the parent's mobile number here so notifications go directly to the parent's phone. If you leave these blank, WhatsApp notifications go to the student's own phone number. One important note about the phone number and duplicate detection. The system checks for duplicates using a combination of the student's full name and their phone number including the country code. So if you enter the same student twice with different phone numbers or with a different country code, the system will treat them as 2 different students. The address section has 6 columns: address line 1, address line 2, city, state or province, country, and postal code. All of these are optional. However, there is a conditional rule here. If you fill in any address field at all, then both address line 1 and city must also be filled in for that row. If you provide a city but forget address line 1 or vice versa, the row will show a validation warning. Address line 2, state or province, country, and postal code are truly free text. You can include them or leave them out regardless of what the other address fields contain. The Parent and Guardian section lets you create or link parent records at the same time as importing students. There are columns for two parents, Parent 1 and Parent 2. For each parent, you can record their first name, last name, phone country code, phone number, email, and relationship to the student. Here's the conditional rule for parents. To create a parent record, you must provide both the parent's first name and their phone number. If you have one but not the other, no parent record will be created for that row. The relationship field accepts father, mother, guardian, or other. If you leave it blank, it defaults to guardian. One smart behavior to know about. If a parent with the same phone number already exists in your system, Guru will link that existing parent to the student rather than creating a duplicate parent record. So you don't need to worry about importing the same parent twice for different students. The system handles that for you. If you don't need parent records right now, simply leave all the parent columns blank. You can add parents later from the student's profile. The last section covers fee and invoicing. These fields give you precise control over how each student is billed. The fee column lets you set a custom monthly fee for each student. You can enter a number, for example, 2,500, or you can enter the word default to use the course's standard fee. If you leave the fee column blank for a row, the course default is also used. You can even leave the fee column out of the file entirely. In that case, every student will use the course default fee. If you enter a custom fee that is lower than the course default, the system automatically calculates the discount for you and shows it in the preview. The invoicing setting column has three options: default, custom, or disabled. Default means the student follows the standard invoicing schedule you've set for your organization. Disabled means no automatic invoices will be generated for this student. You'll raise invoices manually. Note that if a student has an enrolled status and disabled invoicing, the preview screen will show you an informational reminder about this. Custom is the most powerful option. If you set a row to custom, you must also fill in invoicing day, a number from 1 to 28 indicating which day of the month the invoice is generated, and due date days, a number from 1 to 90 indicating how many days after the invoice is generated that payment is due. You can also add invoice notes, up to 500 characters of free text that will appear on every invoice for that student. If you set invoicing setting to default or disabled, any values in invoicing day, due date days, or invoice notes will be ignored. Before you upload your file, run through this quick checklist. First, does every row have a first name, phone number, and status? Those are the only three required fields. Second, are your phone numbers digits only with no spaces or dashes? Third, are your dates of birth in YYYY-MM-DD format? Open a few cells in Excel to double check. Fourth, if you've included any address data, does each row with an address have both address line 1 and city? Fifth, if you've included parent records, does each parent row have both a first name and a phone number? And finally, is your file under 5 megabytes and under 500 rows? If you have more than 500 students, split them into multiple files. Once you're happy with your file, save it as a CSV or as an Excel XLSX file. Both formats are accepted. In the next video, we'll walk through uploading the file and running the import wizard all the way to completion. That's it. You now know every field in the import template, what each one does, and how to avoid the most common mistakes. In part 2, we'll upload this file, review the preview, and complete the import. If you have any questions in the meantime, reach out to our support team. We're always happy to help.